Welcome to Flip Nerd Live, discussions with and training from America's very best real estate investing professionals. We meet live twice a month to discuss what's working now and get your questions answered. We broadcast live inside of a private online community, which you can join for free by visiting flipnerd.com/live. Let's start today's show. What's up, everybody? Hey, welcome to the show. Trevor, how are you, my friend?
Mike, awesome, buddy. Doing awesome. Thanks for the invite.
Always good to see you. So I'm excited to talk today. Every time you and I get together, I'm always inspired by, what you're seeing in your business. So I know you have your ear to the ground. We've got a lot of stuff going on. We represent a lot of movers and shakers in the industry as well. So it's an opportunity to kind of come together and be able to look around corners and have the wisdom of, hundreds or thousands of people that we're serving, talking about what's going on like today, real time, right? So excited to chat with you, my friend.
Dude, me, dude. It's kind of funny. So, of course, going to see each other month down in Dallas, Texas for $1 Million meeting.
Yep.
And I was chatting with one of our mutual clients, Xander, from CR Maryland in Baltimore.
Yep.
And some of the stuff I'm going to be talking about today and what you guys can do is from these conversations with guys that are, our mutual clients that have big business. And so, pumped about what they're doing. And guys, there's so many avenues right now in the market as it's shifting that we need to pay attention to. And Mike is the guy that you guys should be following because he's tapped into probably more the businesses of wholesalers and flippers in this industry than potentially anybody. So I want to be here with you, man.
Yeah, absolutely. And guys, if you hear a little echo here, we weren't able to figure out what that is, so no big deal. We're just going to plow through it. But excited to talk. And before we kind of dive into this, again, a little ad here for $1 Million Meeting. So we've been hosting this for 4 years. Trevor and Carrot are coming on to kind of co-host it with me this year. It's August 31st through September 1st in Dallas. We'll have my best estimate right now is about 250 people there, up from about 200 last year. So it kind of continued to grow every year. The best part is it's really amazing content. We have about 22 speakers. It's not a pitch fest. My guidance to everybody that speaks is come in and bring the heat and share the very best that you have in about 30 minutes on a specific topic. That's usually around, lead generation, sales and marketing, business operations, or kind of lifestyle design, like building a business that really supports the life that you want. And everybody that we have coming in are friends of mine, friends of Trevor's, and just amazing people. And one of the interesting things about this event is while there's some folks that everybody knows, not that everybody knows me or Trevor, but a lot of you that are watching right now do, some amazing people that right, that are kind of industry leaders. And there's people that will be speaking, some folks that are like in my Investor Fuel Mastermind that are like flipping 100 plus houses a year, and they've never been on stage before, and they're like nervous about it. I'm like, you have so much to share. So we have some really amazing people that you might not know of that have a ton to share, that are real, certainly leaders in their markets and just people that are kind of crushing it in their business, although they're not the people that you see on stage all the time at events. So amazing content and kind of virgin content, really, like stuff that you don't normally get to hear some of these things. So they're going to pull back the curtain. And those types of folks really they're the ones that spend a lot of time planning and preparing because, this is they're worried about not adding a lot of value, but I know that they're going to. So anyway, if you go to milliondollarmeeting.co, it's not .com, milliondollarmeeting.co, you can get your tickets. Right now, you can still get early bird tickets for 50% off. And so go check that out. So
go ahead. Topic too. On the topic, I've been working with some of our clients who are going to be there speaking. Like you said, these are people who have literally never spoken in front of like a live audience before. They came on our podcast or yours and things like that. They're like, how do I do it? And what do I do up front? I'm like, dude, you guys just do you. Like when you're here at Carrot Camp, presenting in front of Carrot Camp and people are like, their jaws are dropping, just do that.
And now, a word from our sponsors. Investor Fuel is America's #1 mastermind community for professional real estate investors, where hundreds of the top investors from across the country come together to build stronger businesses and stronger lives. Our community is about giving and transformation. If you're ready to take your business to a whole new level, please learn more and schedule a call with us today at investorfuel.com. Investor Machine is the nation's #1 done-for-you lead source for professional real estate investors, serving many of the highest performing and most respected real estate investors in America. We use a unique approach to data that is truly unlike anything else on the market, then execute your direct mail and skip tracing campaigns for you. Markets are filling up quickly. If you'd like to learn more about our world-class service, please visit investormachine.com. Find out why over 7,000 real estate investors and agents have chosen Carrot to build their website to attract and convert more online motivated seller leads. Visit flipnerd.com/carrot to learn more about how Carrot can help you.
And so Keith Sant's going to be down there with Christina Kudlock, both amazing Carrot customers who are, went from working like 70 hours a week, just $100,000 a month, driving himself around. And then we were able to tweak a couple things in his business to win back up a bunch of his time. He's going to talk about that. Now he's working 20 hours a week, still doing 8 to 10 deals a month.
Yeah.
And then the home buying guys, Dallas, Texas, who were local, and they did what I really love, that I always cast a vision for. Is a lot of, we always say, as much as you can, try to build an evergreen marketing base, amplify and scale with offline marketing. You really can't scale big without offline marketing, unless you're like national with your website or a big region. But amplify that evergreen marketing, but then as quick as you can, move your income, a hunk of your income, from hamster wheel income to evergreen. So these guys went from losing $40K their first year, trying to flip and wholesale in Dallas. And then they focused on a couple marketing methods. 2 years later, now they're doing 7 figures a year. They went hybrid, like what we teach investor, primarily investor, and then moved over to multifamily now. So they're taking their profits from the flips wholesales, putting them in multifamily. I've partnered on 2 of the deals just this past 6 months. It's about 200 or 300 units. I remember the numbers, but they're going to be first time ever. So they're going to watch exactly how they made the leap and went from literally almost ready to give up the business to make a shift in the marketing, building a 7-figure business. Now hundreds of properties. They're built with the apartment buying guys business now. So it's going to be awesome. I'm pumped to see part of my team is going to be there. I'm going to be there a couple days early. I'm excited, man.
Yeah, it's a great event. And the timing wise, it's great because we've just been going through this kind of shift in the market a little bit.
Yep.
And interestingly enough, kind of my input from the Investor Fuel group, that we actually have an event next week. We'll have a couple hundred Investor Fuel members in Nashville with us. Is, if you go back even 6 weeks ago, people were nervous. I was kind of polling everybody.
Mm-hmm.
The most common phrase I kind of put a poll out was like, nervously optimistic. Like, I'm a little nervous about what's going on, but I know that this the market ahead is going to be better than where we're at for folks like us that buy at distressed prices. A lot of the competitors that really didn't know what they were doing, probably had no business being in the business because they were kind of unprincipled, are the ones that are going to go away. And then, as I like to say, the pros can step up and the adults can step up and do really well. And in fact, that's what's going. Every market's different, right?
Yep.
But I think timing wise of this $1 million meeting being at the end of next month, it'll be an opportunity for everybody that's coming to get a breath of fresh air, to learn exactly what's going on, like right now in the market, not something that worked a year ago even, right? So, and so excited about that. So Trevor, tell us a little about for anybody that might not know you, just a little bit about your background and what you do. Obviously, the CEO and founder of Carrot, but just tell us a little bit about your background.
Yeah, dude. For first thing, guys, my audio is still kind of weird. Pop it, comments box. Are you still hearing it, Mike? Is it?
Yeah, a little bit. It's not. It's a little bit inconsistent in terms of what it's doing. So I don't know how to address that. But
hopefully, guys and gals, it's not too distracting. Swap different mics, some other things. So we'll fight through it. But the biggest thing right here is probably a little over a decade ago, before Carrot, I myself, when the shoes that you guys and gals are in, right, had a small business I was starting to make some income money. And I had this kind of like entrepreneurial vision dream that I was going to build a business that gave me more free and help me make an impact. I didn't really know what an impact meant at that time. I just knew, like, I don't just want this just for money, amazing, and that can help you make a greater impact. but there's something there. And for me anyway, the nexus of it all was I discovered that the way that I personally was doing marketing in my previous business was one of the main contributors that was causing me to have what I call a hamster business, hamster wheel marketing. And so then I looked at one marketing method that I used several years before, and I'm going, I did this thing 2 or 3 years ago, and I'm still getting business today from it. If I just built my business off of that, then amplified everything with and scaled with other marketing. And so we did that, and we doubled down on that with Carrot. Today we have about 8,000 active investors and wholesalers and now agents around the country. Where you guys see Zillow owns retail buyer searchers on Google. If you go to Google and type like homes for any city in America, you're probably going to find Zillow and Realtor.com. If you type any motivated house seller phrase, sell my house fast, sell houses, cash home buyers, insert state, city, whatever, you're likely going to find somewhere between 3 and Carrot clients' websites that's dominating page 1 in Google in every city in America, and to Canada and now too. So you're the Zillow of motivated sellers. But a lot of our clients use this for paid traffic, and also the thing that's amazing on kind of the partnership between our clients is we always teach like need to tighten up your authority profile online when you're doing offline marketing, like Investor Machine does so well, because we can help make the offline marketing work even better. And then offline marketing done through sources like Investor Machine actually helps scale on marketing. And so they work together amazingly well. That's what we do. We help you guys get better results, better ROI, your website, your online marketing, and make it all scalable.
Yeah, it's exciting. And Trevor, while we're talking here, if you, Matt on my team, sorry guys, we're doing this. This is what happens when you do live video. He thinks if you have 2 mics that are live, it might be feeding into both. So I don't know if you have 2, but if you can take a look at that. So I think, in terms of what we're going to talk about today, first off, if you guys just chat in and let us know what questions you have, we're going to be talking about a lot about, online marketing. And Trevor just kind of mentioned that it works really well with offline marketing, things like direct mail, cold calling, skip tracing, stuff like that, right? And there's an element of the business, and many of you out there would attest to this, is that there's very little that you do that's a significant investment or a significant decision in your life that you don't go online to search for, right? And so we know at Investor Machine, we send millions of pieces of mail a month for our clients, for example, that a lot of folks, even if they don't put a website on the card, folks will go Google that company name and research people, because that's kind of what we do, right? I mean, a lot of us even go to stores now when we're there to buy something. We're like, well, let me see how much it costs on Amazon, or let me see what the reviews are, or whatever. People just go do online research this day. And by the way, even your grandparents are doing that now, right? It's not like it's just the younger kids anymore. Like everybody does that. And so these things go hand in hand. And I know Trevor agrees with this, is like, even though we have certain expertises between us of what we focus on, that the best marketing is a layered approach. You do different types of media, because we all are like this, right? I don't answer my phone unless I recognize the number. In fact, I have my phone set up so that if my phone doesn't recognize the contact, it goes straight to voicemail, because I don't want to talk to those people. But I look at every text. I get every single text, right? And there's people that are just the opposite. They don't even know what texting is. If you maybe like your parents or grandparents or whatever, they don't even have that icon on their desktop, and they're like, why does my phone keep making this noise? They don't even know what it is, but they answer every call because it could be a doctor or it could be somebody else that's important, right? And so anyway, this stuff works hand in hand. So why don't we start off, Trevor, by talking about kind of what's working now, if anything's really changed in the online space, and maybe even starting with kind of the organic side.
Let me share my screen, and I pinged Braden on my team if there was anything that he could see. And we don't have we just got the one mic set, which is weird, but he'll look at some things and see if we figure it out. Like I said, guys, hopefully it's not too distracting, but
let's see if we can share this. Okay, perfect. Go ahead.
Worth it. So guys, what I'm sharing here is a snapshot into our actual Google Analytics account here at Carrot. Let me see if I can widen this out to make it so the content's a little more viewable for you. And for extra context on this, this is across 10,000 websites in the real estate space. Most of these leads and traffic sellers, a chunk of them. The big chunk of the traffic and leads is really like you can see here, direct is the biggest chunk of traffic, but then organic search is the largest chunk of leads. It's the highest conversion. But when we talk direct, that could come from mail, right? It could come from marketing that investor does with clients. Even if, guys, like here's the deal. The direct, if they type in that URL specifically, but the organic search could even be people typing in the name from a direct mail piece, or them going to Google and type and sell my house, insert whatever. And what I guess is this. I've got this other piece of data here that I want to share. It's really interesting on seller. And then I'm going to kind of walk through and talk about what do we do with the shift in the market, because the market is interesting. If we take it all back here, so I ran this from March 1st through about July, just a couple weeks. And this is a long time period, so the graph is going to be a little bit jumbled, and I'll see if I can maybe zoom in a bit here, guys. But right here, if we take this back, this is like early March 2020, right? As soon as it hit, that's this here. Users are basically searches to our clients' sites. It's different landed on our clients' websites, no matter what traffic source. Okay, so you can see as the COVID restrictions hit, things started to dampen on the search side of things. Now, if you go over here, conversions is out people who filled out a web form. Now, this does not include a phone call. So if someone landed on the site, picked up the phone, called, this doesn't include that. You can about almost double the amount of leads there. Okay, this guys. So conversion rates actually dropped big time around that time. So it went from dropped by 30-40% over that week period, 2-week period when shutdowns hit, because people weren't sure. They're like, I'm not sure. Can I sell? Should I sell? I don't want people walking through my house. Could just hit what's going to happen. And so that really dampened for a little while the motivation for some of the sellers, not most, but some of the sellers, to say, you know what, I'm going to off a bit. It started to come back. And saw what happened into the start of 2021 is the market got really hot, right? Market got crazy. Prices were going like this. Inventory is crazy low. And you can see the majority of the house sellers still filling out the forms, calling, which indicates that the demand is there. Okay, you go over here. We started to see searches, meaning demand to sell their houses was increasing, going up into end of 2020. Took the normal seasonal November and December dip that all happens. If you look at this holiday dip, start of the year, it's pick up again. It happened every year, but searches still stayed pretty strong. Conversion rates, though, actually had a prolonged. Now, what we're seeing now, which is really cool, let me show you guys this, is back during that time. I remember we were on a call, Mike, and we were talking about some of that data. And I was saying, guys, here's what you guys need to do in this market adjustment could change, because that was a change. That was something in the environment outside of us saying, you got a new car dealt to you, and now what do you do with it? A lot of people, dude, were stopping their market. Right. A lot of people were going, I'm gonna back my PPC spending. I'm gonna pull back my direct. I'm gonna back whatever it is, because they are nervous about the market, and rightfully so, because in those times you actually see your conversion rates go down a bit, and we showed conversion rates go down at the original phases of uncertainty, because people who are on the edge of, well, I definitely want to sell and I need to sell, but it's not like I get out of my house now, and that kind of a thing. They're gonna wait, especially if they can't find a house to sell to move to. And so what we've lately is this, Mike, is if we track this, just motivated seller search specifically, and we see sessions are landing on the websites. They kept growing all the way through the end of September. Sessions stayed pretty steady here, a little dip around this season, which happens normally in December. Then it's growing again, but we aren't seeing sessions or people in droves increasing. The demand is already high and it's there. What we have seen, though, is conversion rate, especially this year, and especially since January, it's spiking. So what does that mean, guys? That's an amazing thing, and it's doing both sellers and buyers. This is for buyers on the retail side. This is for motivated house sellers on the investor side. This down here is for agent sellers. And what do we do with this, guys? Well, back when COVID originally hit, I was saying, do not stop your marketing. Like, double down on your marketing. You guys should be sending more postcards. You guys should be making more calls. You guys should be ramping up your online marketing more. You should be putting retargeting ads with video testimonials and some in your video on a Facebook ad in front of people and spending more. You should be launching those Google ads and keeping them in there as long as they're at least breaking. And for this is, while the demand was raising and conversion were going down, this weird tension that's happening. It's showing people are needing to sell, but some are holding back. At some point that tension's break, and those people are going to now go, oh shoot, I am really going to step in and sell, which then means there's going to be a glut of demand, and the ones who are staying in front of them, marketing hard in this time period, are the ones who are going to win. Okay, and that's where we are right now, guys. Is the market start to adjust a little bit? Some of those sellers are going, oh shoot, do I need to sell now? Is my market going to shift? What's going to happen? Also, there's economic things that are triggering more motivation where you guys can help people. Inflation's going up. Some layoffs are happening in tech companies and other companies. There's pressure put on the average consumer. Foreclosures are going to tick up in some markets, in some areas. So you start to look at this and all these factors and go, okay, this I feel a time when investors and agents need to be stepping into their marketing, doubling down, because right now we're going to see a continued shift, I think, in being more motivated to take action, take the next step and sell. How long it lasts? I don't know. 3 months, 6 months, a year, something like that. But it's not going to be like this in 3 years. It'll be a new norm for the cycle of the recession, however long that lasts. But I'll toss it over to you, Mike. My micro suggestion: double down on your marketing now. Our data shows sellers are shifting and turning into conversion and solve my problem mode right now. And the more people, more that you're getting in front of the trust, credibility. We'll show you guys how to do that in a second. The more you're going to convert them into deals.
Yeah, that's good stuff. And I'll also say, Trevor, and I've talked about this before, is my claim to fame. Lindsay and I, we started our business in 2008, and the market was trending down. Lots of confusion. All the foreclosure stuff started happening. It wasn't terrible in Texas where we're at, but a lot of our competition went away, and it's a different market now than it was then. But it was, there was a period of time where we saw a lot of our competition, just people that I knew, that were slashing their advertising budget. And I started to sense like our conversions are going up because we have less competition. And I remember there was a month, and we were only a few months into our business, where we went from $5,000 a month spend, and we were primarily doing direct mail at the time, $5,000 a month to $25,000 a month. And just that literally made our business. It turned us from getting by and wanting to be something bigger to making it something bigger. And we just basically, just stole market share from our competitors in the market, because a lot of them went on the sidelines. And I think also, and I'm not suggesting you guys go spend 500% more, like be smart about it. And I'm not saying that we weren't smart. There's probably some element of luck and timing as well. But I think the important thing here is one of the things that Trevor said is, I've been talking about this a lot, of playing the long game. Like a lot of folks, I think, treat advertising like, I want to put this in, but they need an immediate return on it. And that's not really how SEO works. That's really not how most advertising works. I think, and if you're like in the info marketing space or outside of real estate, let's say, and Trevor will know this too, because he knows a lot of these guys, a lot of people that really know what they're talking about. They basically say, the person that wins is the one that can spend the most on advertising and wait the longest to get that payback, right? Because you're investing in that, you're planting seeds. People are researching you now. By the way, you can retarget them with paid advertising. Direct mail is one of those things, for example, that we know that you send it out now, and there's some people that put it on the side of the fridge or put it in a drawer and come back to it later. A lot of other advertising methods aren't like that. So whether it's SEO or direct mail or, other things as well, like be willing to play the long game. You have to invest in those things, and the payoff is just longer term. It's not like I put a 20 in the machine and I get 100 back tomorrow. If you're doing it that way, and the reason that most people aren't successful in this business or see limited success is because they're very short-minded. Like, I need an immediate payback. If you're willing to kind of lay the bricks now in your wall for the long term, you're going to be way better off over the long term for sure.
Yep. Dude, what you were saying, laying the bricks, like that's such a good analogy that I always like to think about too. Is if you kind of think about that hamster wheel versus green or building a wall, right? Kind of analogy. A lot of investors nations are just used to hustling day to day and thinking no further than this month or this quarter.
Right.
And when you're thinking no further than this month or this quarter, what does your average week or month look like? It looks like the, it's like call all the seller, talk to the seller, manages this lead flow, maybe launch this market thing. If that marketing doesn't work for you, the one it's working that month or that quarter, then it's like try this other marketing thing and try this. So you're always going to be on this cycle. But one of the biggest things is it's going to be important. Mike's been investing in for years. We've been investing to it. Our most successful clients have been investing in this for a long time. Is you need to be building that authority, that trust profile, and you need to really be building that brand. Now, a lot of people watching it be thinking, shoot, I don't want to build a brand. Like, I don't want to have a brand around me, and I don't want to have a face everywhere and be the whatever that version, the Pace Morby of real estate or whatever. You don't have to be, right? But your business should have a brand that builds trust, that builds credibility. And the way that is with content, right? You don't do it any other way other than content. And it be through a direct mail piece where you start to look at, go, okay, let me put myself in the shoes of this seller. And what situations is the seller going through? What are the pain points? What are they looking the next 6 to 12 months? What other marketing messages are they getting? How do we go in there and say completely eliminate every objection they have by adding value? And then also building some credibility at direct mail piece or on the website or in videos when retargeting ads. Yeah. And the ones that we're seeing win. I can show examples of stuff here in a bit, but anyone who is afraid to get a video or start to add it to your business, I think you're missing out in a big way. Even if you're just failing, guys and gals. Even if the video is only build credibility with the other investors you're going to be working. If it's only that's hugely valuable. We can show you guys some way to it, but
I think, and I've seen it too, even with our podcast. I've been doing my Flip Nerd podcast, not this live version. We've had a few different versions, but the Flip Nerd podcast that we do now, that I actually turned hosting of that over to Dylan Tanaka. I don't know if you.
I did, man. It's doing a great job.
Yeah, Dylan's great. But we've been doing this podcast for 8 or 9 years, and I'll be honest with you guys, just to give you some example. It's a totally different business, right? But there's people now that will join our mastermind or something else, and we ask them how you found out about us, and they'll say, I've been listening to Mike's podcast for 5 years, and I might not know who that person is, but just playing that long game. And I'll be honest, when I first started my podcast, I didn't think like that either. But in hindsight now, I know that gave me credibility, and things are coming out of that, the investments, the hard work and effort that we put in the past. And that's how a lot of you should look at your marketing for motivated sellers as well. Because let's be honest, if you've bought a lot of houses, this is going to resonate with you. It's not very common that we go buy a house from somebody that's in a distressed situation, and that distress started last week. Like, you look at folks and their house has been run down for 20 years. Like, it took them a long time. And so from a standpoint of follow-up and putting content out or whatever, there's folks in the back of their mind that know that they're eventually going to need to sell their house to somebody like us. And maybe today's not the day, but they're thinking about it. Like Trevor just showed you, they're researching it in advance of making the decision. And so if you're not, it's kind of, I hate to use an analogy of the lottery, but there's this tagline in the lottery that used to say, you can't win if you don't play. Yep. And if you're not putting content out there, if you're not playing the long game and sending out mail or creating online content or whatever, you're not playing essentially. And so you're not even being considered for that, even though they might be making up their mind of who they're going to work with now, but they just don't tell you about it for months or even years from now.
Yep. Dude, let me bring up my screen one more time, kind of on that area topic. So what I'm showing you here is another piece of data. And so I drilled in further on. We have so many points. Like, I can tell you guys what the highest converting website is in Dallas, Texas, this last 9 days. And all the different user actions that the users are taking. We use those to make our clients' websites better. The things that we've been looking at trend is now these are users, right? These are people landing on websites. But what I want to show you guys is this. is when we start about conversion, and I really don't care as much about traffic. Okay, the same way that Mike probably doesn't care as much about how is the list that we're sending. What we care about is it the right people, and are they high quality people who have a better chance of serving them up a service or a solution that can help them. Right. So we were really fun help you get the highest quality leads that convert the highest, that give you the highest profit per deal. Because when you get the highest lead that converts the highest, that gives you the highest profit per deal, you actually can deal with fewer leads to get the same deals, or fewer leads to get more profit. And then, like I said, you scale that operation, like with CR of Maryland, scale the operation without like with Mike. So I don't know their exact revenue, but they're a multiple seven-figure year operation. They do almost seven-figure year in profit just from Carrot SEO, including PPC, but they do way more than that with the outbound marketing that they do. And the reason I bring this is one big trend that we've been seeing is conversion rates actually the highest on any video focused format. Okay, and like we talked before, people want to build trust, including with the resources that they're using now. They know, everybody knows 6 or 7 real estate agents. They've heard of Verpad. They heard Zillow buying houses, and they in general know that there's these other options to sell. And then on the lists that tend to be marketed to, probably gotten some marketing from investors rates. And the way that a lot of people are still making those decisions, and this is what we call a phantom expend for businesses. You don't even know how many deal leads you're losing until you start to do this, and you go, gosh, I didn't realize this is just an untapped flow of deals or flow of higher conversion that I didn't even know was there. And so if we look at the social media side of things, Facebook is still by far the largest volume. So over this time period, our clients drove 5 million clicks, 5 million clicks from Facebook. It's a lot of clicks, right? That's a lot of clicks. Now, what you see is Facebook traffic tends to have a higher what's called bounce rate. Now, that's because it tends to be a lower quality visitor, because they're used to taking pictures of their that they just had, looking at, stalking their old ex-girlfriend, ex-boyfriend on Facebook or whatever it is, and we're going to interrupt them with the marketing message while they're in entertainment mode. So from Facebook, we have to be using a page like this. Okay, so this is a Carrot page. This is a landing page built on Carrot. You can see there's no navigation up here, and we've been doing lots of testing. And we're going to be coming out some of this soon. But you can build really amazing looking landing pages on here. The reason we have navigation pulled out because we're working with clients of ours like Chris Chico, who does a ton of Facebook marketing. And we're finding this year, arriving to a landing page from Facebook specifically is actually outperforming in some markets, not all. Okay, there's some markets where it's like still drive to your highly optimized Carrot homepage, and that's what converts better. People are in information gathering mode. You want them to click and consume information. But from Facebook, we need to catch their attention immediately, drive them down toward a path like this, and then you retarget them back on Facebook with an ad like a video testimonial or something. Okay, so there's still a lot of leads over this time just opt-in leads where they submitted their information on the form. Doesn't include people picked up the phone and called. That's 147,000 leads that came through that. Okay, but like I said, average time on page is lower, 38 seconds. Bounce rate's higher. So you're going to have to get more traffic, and you're going to have to through more leads to close this. About 1 in 30 Facebook leads for sellers turns into a deal on average. Now, if you go to Instagram, this is kind of interesting. Instagram is number 2, and a lot of people go like, "Dude, does Instagram actually drive leads or something that's kind of cool?" Well, number 1, it can help build credibility, right? But number 2, Instagram drive leads, but it's not a lot. So when we look at Facebook leads over time period, a little over a year, 147,000 leads from Facebook, only about 1,800 from Instagram specifically, because in general, investors don't really know how to use Instagram well to drive traffic and leads. Oftentimes, that is retargeting ads, moving the person over. And this is what's cool is what I want to look what I look for is not really traffic and visitors. I look for conversion. I think what marketing methods give me more leverage? What marketing methods are going to pre-prime that prospect to want to do business with once they to my website? Okay. And when we look at the YouTube, guys, YouTube was far fewer visitors than Facebook. But what we're seeing is the conversion rate triple. Once someone gets over to a Carrot website from YouTube video, the conversion rate from visitor to lead is triple. And same thing, the volume is crazy high. So we're working with investors to adopt this better and do it better. Agents doing it well. But it's still almost 1,000 leads, double that, probably about 14 or 15,000 leads over this time period. Through that, Instagram stories is another one, is producing leads. I would not pay attention to Pinterest. Don't pay attention to it, but there are leads coming to Twitter's got 100, LinkedIn's got a few hundred. So all of the things work. Yelp, surprisingly, guys, doing quite a bit of leads, Better Biz Bureau, things like that. So if I were to kind of give you guys bets to make this year as we're going to an uncertain market, is anytime there's uncertainty, the market wants to have a personal entity to go to for information, to answer their questions, ally their concerns and fears, and to be able to cast a vision for how they can help them solve a problem.
Yeah,
you do that content. The way you do that's with content. So start creating first YouTube videos, guys.
Yeah, and I think it's about the person's intent, right? Like, what are they? Like, most people are, like you said, they're not on Facebook scrolling through a news feed trying to solve a problem about how do I sell my house. But sometimes you can catch people that might be intrigued by that, right? That might be interested and might drill in. And so I think that's another message for you guys, is to make sure that because sometimes people look at all lead sources and they expect to have the same conversions. They expect to have the same kind of the same profit per deal. Like, you have to monitor all those things. There's a lot of amazing CRMs out there today. Almost no matter what you're using, you can track that. But you're going to find out, I think, like, for example, we've done a little bit of research and we know that direct mail, and I think this would be similar to SEO for sure, has a return. The profits on those deals are typically 2 to 3x what they are from skip trace, from text messaging and cold calling.
Yep.
And it's like, well, why is that? And by the way, we skip trace, and our clients use our data to cold call and text market too as well. It's like, well, if they're calling you from direct mail, they're ready for a solution. They're seeking a solution, right? If you catch somebody at the dinner table that wasn't expecting your call and has no interest in selling their house, that's why you're going to convert one out of a very high number of those leads, versus direct mail or SEO, it might be 1 in 10, 1 in 15, or something like that, right? So you're going to have better conversion rates. And if people are seeking you out, first off, the sales cycle is faster. They're looking for a solution, not just like you might be able to solve a problem that they didn't really know they had, but maybe they do, right? So the sales cycle is a lot longer, and the profits are generally going to be smaller, because basically it's kind of like outbound marketing versus inbound marketing. If their leads are coming to you, they took the initiative to call you, they need a solution. And they're probably more motivated than outbound marketing, where you're interrupting somebody's day. And I'm not saying that those techniques don't work, but you just should have an expectation that's different when you're comparing your ROI and how long it takes to convert a sale from initial contact to sale. Is going to be very different from inbound marketing to outbound. Would you agree with that, Trevor? Or do you see the same things?
100%. Kind of what we see. We ran lots of surveys to our clients. Is kind of starting at the top end, and these numbers, they've guys, right? Probably has different data, and this is just what we've seen in our surveys. But if you're running radio or TV advertising, which all of our clients, bigger clients do. I know Investor Fuel members, which we were at the last one, Tony Javier, he does it really, really good, and others are crushing it with it. But you're gonna have to sift through a lot more leads in that way. It's usually 1 in 40, 1 in 50 to 60 leads to a deal, depending on how effective that your campus. Cold calling, it's probably running the same. You probably got to get between 40 or 50, 70 call or quality leads to even have it close to a deal. And then you got direct mail, depending on how running it, things like that, maybe between 1 in 30 to 1 in 40, maybe 1 in 30 to 150, depending on leads turns into a deal. And then you've got Facebook creating 1 in 20 to 1 in 30, Google Ads 1 in 10 to 1 in 20. SEO, we're seeing some people 1 in 5, but we always say 1 in 15. And the thing is too, as you go up that scale, the reason those ratios are so different is because you get more and more focused toward it's called the decision phase. Like if I'm in my marketing Carrot, you have this customer journey. All the way at the left end of this customer journey is people are not even aware that they have a problem yet, right? So they're not seeking anything out. You go all the way to the other side of the customer journey. It's who are highly motivated. They've already done the research. They're ready to decision. And SEO, PPC, really targeted direct mail, like you're saying, get a way better chance in front of the person that's closer to decision. But cold calling, radio, TV advertising, you're kind of more toward broad. You're trying to people's shoulders and get them aware.
Right.
And the things that I always like to tell people too, like guys, are we going through a recession? Well, depends on who you're asking. Technically, we're fundamentally in one now, or at the start of one. Unless you listen to the White House.
Yeah, they just redefine what a recession means.
Yeah, but I did a podcast recently. We talk about this possibly down at $1 Million Meeting next month. But how do you prepare business for a recession? Well, number one, the first thing that we have to do is we have to protect the business and prepare it for uncertainty. The second thing is we have to prepare for opportunity, right? And so a lot of people are looking. I'll see Facebook posts on it. They're like, especially the newer investors, they're making little comment going, I'm licking my chops for the downturn or a crash. That's great, but we don't want to celebrate someone's downfall. You can profit. We have to celebrate the fact that you have skill set and that you've built skill set and you're doing it ethic so that you're ready to solve problems when they're there. And those opportunities will be there for those who need to make some shift. I'm going to talk about those at $1 Million Meeting, what shifts you need to make are going to help you wade through an amazing 2022 too. But the part of it is protecting your business. And one of the first things that we'd all be doing is to look at our business. We should our marketing. We should look at our finances. We should say, how do we tighten things up? One of the best ways to tighten things up is what we talked about before, is to do the types of marketing that actually enable you to not have to have a bunch of the expenses filling up your expense line item and profit, because you're having through a bunch of crappy leads. And so if you're looking at your business, you go, well, shoot, if it's focused on marketing that brings me a higher quality prospect, converts higher, I require few leads to turn into the deal and profit at a higher percentage. What if I just did more of that marketing and less of this other marketing that requires to sift through a bunch of bad leads, requires me to hire people, manage those people, and have extra overhead and margins? Guys, focus on expanding your margins. And the best way to do that is to start with the marketing that brings the most money to people, and then potentially reduce your head count, which reduces risk as you go into recession, which then proves you to be able to on opportunity. And then the next thing on the opportunity part, we'll probably talk about a good bit at $1 Million Meeting on exactly what opportunities are there and how do we capture, guys. Show up in Dallas, because we're going to be digging into that time, I'm sure, between the 2 days of sessions.
Yeah, we'll be talking about marketing a lot. I do think, it's easy. Again, Trevor and I, obviously you guys know this, we benefit from people marketing, but I believe this to my core. The last thing you should cut is marketing in your business. And if your business is struggling a little bit, like tighten up, shore up wherever you need to, get scrappy. That's really how you always should be. But it's easy in a market like we've been through, where everybody's making a ton of money hand over fist. It's easy to get a little sloppy and start to, add more expense in there because you're investing in your business or bigger office or whatever. That's natural. But, when you cut your advertising now, or you start to slash it now, I'm not saying that you shouldn't move it around like Trevor's talking about and optimize it, but it doesn't really impact you today. It's going to impact you 2, 3, 6 months out when those leads are finally coming around and converting, right? And so a lot of times when folks start to slash their marketing, I hate to say it, but I generally refer to it as the kiss of death, because it's hard to recover from. It's hard to recover from that, because that's your pipeline. That's your pipeline of revenue, right? But yeah. So let's just talk, maybe Trevor, a little bit here as we kind of wind down, about relatively low cost ways for people to create content. Because I know you've talked a lot about this in the past, that a lot of folks really struggle with creating content. Sometimes like, I don't really feel like it. I don't want to write a blog. I think you and I both think that video is one of the easier things to do. But I think if folks can work it into their day, you and I think we've talked about this on podcasts in years past, even about kind of on the job content. Like, you happen to be out at a house, you can create content right there. Doesn't have to be special. You don't have to have a production. You don't have to have a film crew there with you. Just grab your phone and go. Right. So let's talk about some easy ways for people to kind of start doing more content if they're not right now.
Yeah. I'm pulling up a channel. Let me see if it's the right one here. Because I think this is a good example here. Yeah, I'll show this here. So The first kind of layer of content, guys, is this. So let me pop this little. I want to pull up this one slide. One slide will kind of indicate what it is. The first thing that we want to do, guys, is we want to build what we call the authority. Okay, because we have to have kind of a framework to put everything to. So let me find this one slide that illustrates what an authority is. Pretty good. So right here, an authority guys should be the how the container holds your content. That's the first thing, because before we even tell you guys what to create, we should be like, hey, where should you put this stuff, right? Because a lot of agents, investors are putting it in the wrong. They're putting it in a hamster wheel spot. They're only putting it on Instagram. They're putting it on Facebook, and that's the only spot that's relevant for 8 to 72 hours max. And you got to post again. It's not evergreen. And so the first thing is, we need to be putting our content evergreen spot, so it's going to be there for years, or your best prospects find it. And so, like I said earlier, you start to stack bricks where every piece of content is a new brick. And over time, it builds momentum. And then over time, you just start to be winning traffic into deals. And so the first type of content, Mike, is I would urge people on your what we call your core conversion pages to start to add video content on those core conversion pages. And I'll show you an example. So talked about decision phase. And the decision phase is when someone is close to making a decision. Doesn't matter what it is. Be on Amazon looking at it could be selling a home. Is we need to eliminate their objection. The very first content people should be is objection eliminating content, ideally video. And I want you to sit down and write down the top 3, 4, 5 objections that you're finding your sellers or buyers, whatever you're focusing on, talking about, or that they're concerned about. And for a wholesaler, there's a lot of standard ones. I'm afraid that you're not going to follow through on the deal, because the last investor I worked with, they've on it the last. Are you going to do the same thing? So are you reliable? Are you going to do say? Another one is, are you going to lowball me? I heard from this agent person over here that you're just going to offer me a lowball. It's not going to be fair. Another one is this too good true? Things like that, right? So write the 3, 4, 5 deals, objections, and then on your deals, or look at your past deals you've done. Write down some situations or scenarios where you helped a client who had that objection. Reach out to them, or you can go on the website, and if you already closed that you don't want to reach out to them, you can't get a hold of them, you can just grab your phone or do a Loom video and just have a case page on your website and say, hey, this is Trevor, ABC Home Buyers. Now I want to walk through the situation where we helped a gal on 123 Oak, on Oak Street, Dallas, Texas, solve this problem where she entered a house from her uncle, and she was concerned about these three things. And I'm going to walk you through what we discussed with her, the solutions we came up with, and then how she ultimately solved the problem. And do a little case study, even without the person. Just do it on Loom. You don't have to put their face, don't put their name. You can just talk about the property in the situation. Better is get a client to talk about it. Okay, so go through, and testimonials should not be just, hey, it was great to work with. I love Investor Fuel, right? It should be, here's the problem challenge I had. Here's what I was skeptical about. Here are options I was looking at. Here's why I chose you to work with, and here's what life like now. Okay, so ask them those questions on video if you can. Get those on your site first of all. The second part of decision phase content, Mike, is in the data that I was looking at. If I were to go back to our analytics, and we base everything off of data, guys. So let me show you guys this really quick. I'm going to go in here to let's get that. Let's see behavior. I'm probably going in the complete wrong area, but I know there's a section on content, and I probably don't have it pulled up your way. But anyway, there is a section on site content. And let me show you guys this. The top most visited web pages on your websites are the ones that we need to create content on. The ones that we need to have some level of video content, and if possible, at the very least, written content with images. So let's look at the homepage. Obviously, is driving the most traffic and leads, the way that our system's set up. But our contact and how we buy houses and then testimonials are in the top 10. And so make sure on your our company page, it's got good credibility on there. It kind of tells your story a little bit. Maybe even video, why you do what you do. You're passionate about helping sell buyers. But then down here, the how we buy houses or how it works page drives some good leads, gets a lot of traffic. And just like Bo did here, guys, walk through and demystify that process. Because a lot of people are looking for, how does the thing work? How is it different than an agent? How is it than open often door, Oprah door, than an often pad? You guys know what I mean. I'm mixing the two, but do it there. Hey, this is Trevor with ABC Home Buyers. You're probably on this page because you're wondering, how does this direct cash offer pro work? Well, you know how the real estate agent market works. You know how this works. I'll walk you through how our program works. Well, once you submit your here or pick up the phone, we're going to get it, and then we're going to go through this process to determine our offer. And here's the exact way we're doing it. We're demystifying it. And then once that happens, we're going to make the offer, and then you get the did it done. Here's what it looks like. Okay. So guys, focus on decision phase. I'm going to jump back and I'm going to get you guys two examples and some can focus on that are upstream now that help you to get traffic and attract people. So Tyler Ford, this is a pretty darn brand new YouTube channel. And the same thing, following a resource that we have. We have a resource, I think it's just carrot.com/video, where Tyler made his aim last year. We have an agent one and we have an investor one. Tyler's aim last year, he said, I'm going to create an agent YouTube channel, and I'm going to literally use Carrot's marketing guide, where we give a video idea and script for every single week of the year. He did it. And he now is about $10,000 a month in commissions just from his YouTube channel creating those that we mapped out in that free guide. So he said, man, I wonder if this works for investors too. So he started a couple months ago, and he's starting to create some of the investor ones. And here's some of the ones that he's started doing. They're seeing some views. This is just straight up views YouTube. They're not big. Guys, this is the cool thing. You're not aiming to hundreds or thousands of views in these YouTube videos. Even if you could get one of the right prospects that turns into a deal, spending 10 minutes in YouTube video mates. And so here's a couple of examples. Go after some of your primary keyword phrase that your what would actually be searched on, and go in and create that. Right here, what you need to know when selling home to a cash buyer. People are wondering how the heck that works. There's other topics that you can go into as well. How does a cash buyer develop their offer? You can go niche topics of the situations that your sellers are in, and selling a house in probate, selling in divorce. You wouldn't believe the leads that come in on clients' websites with insane niche searches. Selling a house in Florida. One of our clients, House Heroes, Lucas, I think at the last investor fuel that I was at there in Nashville, and he gets dozens of seller leads every single through a blog post he did on selling a house and staying in it in Florida, and it's ranking real on Google. And he did a video. So wow. I'll wrap it up with that, guys. Start at the decision phase, tighten up that get testimonials that eliminate objections. Go into the about page and how it works page. Demystify the process, build some credibility, and you can bounce up to doing a piece of content every week or every month on the niches that you help in. 3 to 10 minute video, add it to YouTube, add it to the video marketing feature that turns your video into an article, and you start to stack on that evergreen marketing.
Good stuff, man. I think at the end of the day, really great stuff here, Trevor, and hopefully you guys got a lot of value. Maybe you could share with us in the chat, whether you're watching it live or afterwards, if you got some good value there. Look, at the end of the day, I think going into this market that we're going into, and I think it's a great market for real estate investors, especially those that are principled and that are really focused on building a business for the long haul and focused on solving seller problems, right? At the end of the day, this can't be about you. It has to be about serving other people. And you'll benefit from that if you do a good job at that, right? Yeah. Is listening to people like Trevor, following the content that we have on this show. If you haven't signed up, you can go to flipner.com/live and you'll get notified of each of these shows. We've got some amazing guests. I do these twice a month, and people that are really sharing, kind of cutting edge, highly principled stuff. So make sure that you're following the right folks. Carrot has a ton of resources. Trevor just shared there. They have tons of guides and stuff on how to share, how to create content, the right type of content to help you generate leads. And honestly, I've created over 1,500 podcasts, and that's all we talk about is ways to get better at your business. No doubt, man. But we've created a lot of content, and it's for those of you that are watching right now to kind of listen and learn from. And so make sure you're surrounding yourself with people that are talking about what's working now. And back to my phrase before, playing the long game, people that are not talking about like what works right now, what can I do right now that is going to be, something that's not going to work next month or next year, because all of you listening to this right now are trying to build a business for the long haul, right? So basically use the right materials to build that business, right? So Trevor, hey man, thanks so much for sharing your time with us today.
Mike, I appreciate it big time, man. I'm gonna kind of give like a shameless and very passionate, focus kind of call to action. Everybody here is like I said, I'm gonna be down in Dallas, August 31st, September 1st, with some of my team, tons of our customers, investor fuelers, top investors. And here's the big thing, guys. I know when I was going through on in my business phase, and even where we are now, anytime you're in a phase of uncertainty, when things are changing, the number one thing that helped me wade through that has always been community. Every single time, it's am I surrounding myself with the right people and the connections who have through something like before, who I can either grab onto their coattails, ride alongside with them, and can grow through this together. And the first event I ever went to was back in 2008. And I remember that event that I went in 2008 was in Florida. I couldn't afford it. I had never traveled from my home by myself before. I'd never flew by myself before. And I show up to this event completely unprepared, paid a bunch of money for this thing, way more than what $1 Million Meeting is. And I still have lifelong friends. I've made multiple seven figures in income from partners from that event that I had, and I still connect with today with life, but now. And I'm still business partners with one of them today. Talked with Keith. He was at the last $1 Million event. Not last one, I think one last year. He was at Carrot Camp recently, and he's like, dude, the $1 Million Meeting. He goes, I just literally closed a deal last week from a guy that I met at $1 Million Meeting who I'm still connected with, and Keith is going to be down there. And so, guys, even if you're not looking at the topics and you're going, these are kind of cool topics, go there for the people. Go there for the connection. Go there for the community. If you're not a part of a community, whether virtual or real, and sitting there at the bar, sitting there across the table, next to people, that's where the magic is. Okay, yes, you can get all this information. You could probably buy the darn records later, right? Which is valuable by itself. Maybe you can, maybe you can't. But it's the value is that being an environment we have to focus on learning and finding executable things to change your business into the market side. And then number two, with the people. So guys, go to milliondollarmeeting.co.co. I want to see you guys there. I'm to see you there. We've never I'm not going to say co-hosted, but we've never been at this capacity with any event ever. And so we pick and choose wisely. And I really trust Mike and his crew, the whole investor fuel community. So we're going to be there, guys. Pumped to see so many of you guys at milliondollarmeeting.co.
Awesome, man. Thanks, Trevor. Thanks again for all your time today. Thanks for sharing stuff. And we'll be talking soon, buddy.
Thank you, guys.
Everybody, hope you got some good value today. Chat down below. Tell a friend. Go to flipnerd.com/live. We'll send you notifications of the next upcoming one, which, by the way, is Tiffany High is going to be on the next one. And we got some just amazing guests, people that are really crushing it and people that have a lot to share. So hope you guys got some value today. We'll see you on the next show. Have an amazing day.
Thank you all.
Thanks for joining me on today's Flip Nerd Live. To get access to our upcoming interviews with experts and get your questions answered and join our free online community, please visit flipnerd.com/live. Thanks again to our sponsors. Investor Fuel is America's #1 mastermind community for professional real estate investors, where hundreds of the top investors from across the country come together to build stronger businesses and stronger lives. Our community is about giving and transformation. If you're ready to take your business to a whole new level, please learn more and schedule a call with us today at investorfuel.com. Investor Machine is the nation's #1 done-for-you lead source for professional real estate investors, serving many of the highest performing and most respected real estate investors in America. We use a unique approach to data that is truly unlike anything else on the market, then execute your direct mail and skip tracing campaigns for you. Markets are filling up quickly. If you'd like to learn more about our world-class service, please visit investormachine.com. Find out why over 7,000 real estate investors and agents have chosen Carrot to build their website to attract and convert more online motivated seller leads. Visit flipnerd.com/carrot to learn more about how Carrot can help you. We look forward to seeing you on the next Flip Nerd Live Real Estate Investor Training. Please make sure to join our free community so you can join us live at flipnerd.com/live.